Let's bring in Congressman Brian Mast from Florida, member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, for a little bit. Brian, thank you for joining us. A little bit of an insight on what you're going to ask Blinken when you get your chance to speak to him.
Yeah, for me personally, it's really pointed at this. We know that there's been reports that President Biden worked to manipulate the intelligence of what was going on with the Taliban on the ground. Did that in fact happen? Was Secretary of State Blinken a part of that? If so, that's definitely aid and comfort, certainly in my opinion, to the enemy. These are things that need to be answered for. They're doing everything that they can to just say President Trump this, President Trump that, and that's pretty much every answer that they're giving up to this point.
You know, Congressman, one of we've been covering this diligently for the last 3 weeks, since the slaughter happened, since the pullout happened, it was announced, and some of the failures. But one of the things that really gets to me, and I keep talking about it, I don't think we've gotten a really good answer from anyone, is that there was intel, that the Secretary of State had intel, and that the Pentagon had intel that there was an imminent bombing. There was a terrorist attack that was going to happen at the Kabul airport. And it did, in fact, happen. And it had to happen in the only open gate. If they knew, and they had hours allegedly, why didn't they do something? Why didn't they remove service members? Now, the people who were there, they couldn't remove everyone, but they certainly could have gotten our 13 service members away. Could they have not?
Yeah, well, one, they got themselves into a nearly undefensible situation where they had retreated from the embassy, they'd retreated from Bagram, they'd retreated from other places, got themselves into this area that they previously hadn't been working to defend, had very limited access. We're sending out communications, coordinating them with the actual terrorists. So they had information about where people could come in and out, how they were letting them in and out. They were making a dangerous situation significantly more dangerous with the way that they were conducting the withdrawal and just simply marching to the beat of whatever the Taliban told them to do. And that's directly what led to all of this. And if they were manipulating that intelligence on the ground of how to assess the Taliban, how they were working with ISIS or ISIS-K or others, then that was directly what led to these deaths, is that missed assessment or them changing the assessment of what really happened.
Yeah, and then in the other one, in Blinken, and he's allegedly, not even allegedly anymore. We now know that 23 diplomats from the embassy in Kabul, Afghanistan, sent a cable on July 23rd, which is clearly a month prior to the deadly attack, suggesting that this sort of thing could have happened. Yet no one sat down and planned for the Taliban to move into Afghanistan as quickly as they did. They had a month notice, yet they didn't plan for it. Someone must be held accountable for this. I assume you're going to ask them about that as well.
Look, this is a question that was literally just a couple moments ago asked by Representative Darrell Issa. What about the cables? What about what was said? And the response by Secretary Blinken was little more than this. Well, listen, we appreciate that people in our agency can voice their concerns and talk about different things, express different political views. We're glad that they have this opportunity, really not addressing those cables and actually the descent of what was going to happen in Afghanistan. That is their approach. Admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. We know this. It's the game they continue to play.
Congressman, we're going to let you get back to that hearing because your questions are coming up. And if we do see you asking that questions, we're going to dip into it live as well. In the meantime, go get them and hold their feet to the fire. I know you only get 3 minutes, which isn't a lot of time, and maybe you get one good question off. But please ask that question about why we didn't get our service people out of the way, out of harm's way, if we had an hour or two notice on it. Congressman Brian Mast, thank you for doing God's work, sir. Thank you for being here.
God bless.